All right, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it may be for you guys. This is Eureka Off-Road. Our last couple videos were all recoveries, and that was awesome, but we don't have any recoveries to do this week, so we've been working on this in the background. This does not belong to Sterling or I. This belongs to our good friend Carson, and this thing is going to be the ultimate blazer. We've kind of been working on it in the background a little bit, and I think we may have showed parts and pieces of it in other videos, but this is going to be a video pretty much about it and what we're going to do with it. We're not going to have it done in this video because it's a fair amount of work, but we're going to peck away at it, hopefully get it to move under its own power in this video. And it's basically going to be the ultimate blazer by the time we're done here. Let me show you around. So basically this thing started off life as a 1981 Chevy Blazer, and when Carson bought it, it was actually pretty rowdy rig. It had this lift kit. It had the all spring lift kit. It actually had a Dana 60 and a I don't remember what the rear end was, a 14 bolt. It had a winch bumper on it. It already had this 454 in it. So this is about the only thing we're not touching. This is decent running 454. I think it's pretty much bone stock. And then it's got a turbo 350 203 side pipes. It had some different what tires? Oh, it had some 38.5 TSLs on it. Is what it had, some like 16 wide things. And I mean, it's interior's in decent shape. It's got these cool floral pattern things. Got a dash mat on it already. It's just your basic, I know it's kind of dark, but it's just your basic Chevy Blazer. Back seat still in there, all taken apart, bunch of other parts it came with. It does have a roll bar in it right now. Just a basic hoop, bolt together hoop, kind of chintzy thing. It was painted at some point in time. I'm not super impressed by this. I don't know if you can hear this, but that's not what paint's supposed to sound like. And I don't know, you can't even hardly get the mud off it because it's like almost sticky. Anyways, so what we've done to it so far, and what we're going to do to it, well, for one, we've got these nice two bumpers. So basically, Carson had this, and he had another Chevy long box, and he wanted to take all the stuff out of the Chevy long box, put it into this. The Chevy long box was pretty rowdy rig, but the motor was going bad, and the body was beat to tar. And this actually, besides having trimmed fenders, I mean, she's super clean. I mean, there's a little bit here and there, but very little rust in this thing. So we took all the parts out of the Chevy, and here's kind of what we've done so far. So we put two bumpers on it. He's got a winch to go on it. We haven't got that yet. We changed out the axles. So this is still a Dana 60, but it's got the Reed Racing knuckles. It's got the bigger 35 spline axles, bigger U-joints, high steer, PSE assist. It's got 538s with an ARB locker in it. Chromoly shafts. Pretty much the same story in the rear. 14 bolt ARB 538s. Chromoly shafts. The whole 9 yards. The heavy duty thick covers. Over there, I think you can probably see it. It's actually got traction bar mount. It's got disc brakes in the rear. Yeah, just really stout axles overall. And then right now we're sitting on these. These are temporary rollers, you know, just some 38.5 skinnies, because I don't know if this thing's ever actually going to be a mud bogger or not. It's kind of set up for it, but kind of not. And then, yeah, there's the PSC pump, and the reservoir built a fancy bracket for that. And then there's our compressor, which you probably saw the switches inside sitting on the seat. That's the ARB compressor for the lockers. We got to finish wiring that all in. This motor runs fine. Again, it's pretty much stock, but he does also have, this is the 454 out of the other truck, which it's low on compression. I think he's going to have it rebuilt. And then here's where the kind of tricky part comes in, is, as you saw, it was a turbo 350 automatic, but if you look inside, we've kind of already started on it. We removed the automatic shifter right there, And we've installed a third pedal. That's not totally done. We gotta clean up some wiring, but we still gotta put all the hydraulics in yet. And there's the switches and everything for the ARB locker. Because right here we've got an NV4500 with a 203 and a set of Tom Woods drive lines, custom cross member. There's bell housing, a fancy pants racing clutch or something, and we're gonna put all that into here. And that's gonna be a little bit tricky because in 1981 they never came with an NV4500. So shifter, four-wheel drive shifter, all that stuff is gonna have to be recut in. This one fortunately has a removable transmission hump, so it shouldn't be too bad. We should be able to pull that whole transmission hump off, put all this in, and then measure, cut our holes, and put the tranny hump back on. I'm a little nervous about how this is gonna mount, this cross member, because it's an aftermarket deal. Whenever I took it out of the pickup was an 86, one of the last years for the square body. I actually had to pull the bell housing off of the tranny to get it out because the way they had it tucked up, they had this fancy cross member in here, but then they also had these fancy motor mounts, and it had this crossover tube, and I think everything sat a little different in there. I'm hoping I can put the bell housing on the tranny and then put the whole thing in this. But it doesn't, it's just, there's not a whole lot of room with this big block and everything. I've never dealt with it, I guess is what I'm saying. So I guess I'm going to find out. But we're just going to take you along for this week. Hopefully I can get this guy in without too much trouble. And we'll be able to keep making progress. But it's already late tonight, so I'm going to try and get the tranny and transfer case out of this and just get ready for this. I'm waiting on a throwout bearing and a pilot bushing anyways. So hopefully tomorrow we can start working on this. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get Sterling over to help me out. And yeah, but this thing is going to be, and then we're going to be taking these tires off. These are those 38.5 skinnies. And I don't know if you'll be able to see them in the dark here, but there's the old winch and bumper off the truck. And here we got a set of 42-inch IROCs on bead locks. Whole set of 4 of them, almost brand new. So, and then over there underneath the snow there is a cowl hood for it, and then not the white tube bumper, but this tube bumper here. That's the matching rear tube bumper, but it needs modification from the Chevy long box to work. So yeah, we're gonna get started on this thing. All right, it's a new day. Sterling's here. He helped me finish getting this transmission out. It's out. We had to cut the lines because the fittings were all rounded over. Stupid fittings. We got the bell housing bolted onto this. We were going to try and cram it back in, but I got the wrong throwout bearing today. I believe it was a throwout bearing intended for a internal slave cylinder. We've got an external slave cylinder. Sterling's down here zip tying power steering lines, and I got the ARB lines run. The ones down to the locker anyhow. We still got to put the switches and everything else in, but that's kind of the update so far. So we're going to keep plugging away as much as we can until we get the correct parts and get this tranny cram back in here. I think we're going to have to do away with this exhaust pipe here is going to be in the way. Right about there. That transfer case is going to try and hit it. So, yeah, fun stuff. Alright, we're again watching some television because we're lazy. Anyway.
Well, we did our work already.
We did do some work. And let me see, I got a flashlight here in my pocket. Oh my gosh. So, you can't see nothing. There's an NV4500 in a Blazer, and the pickup cross member, you see it hitting there. You go over here and you see it's just barely on the outside of the frame there. The Blazer chassis is a little different than the pickup chassis, so we're going to have to come up with something, but we were able to make it fit. 205 is getting pretty close up there. Front drive lines in, bell housing bolts are in, clutches slipped together.
I think it just needs rear rear driveline crossover.
Yeah, and buttoning up stuff. You can see it sets up pretty high inside of here. I don't know if we're rebuilding that cross member, we might drop it down just a little bit. I don't know. And then we'll see here. Oh, there's some PSC juice. There's your master cylinder and your reservoir, and the line's just run down there for now. The slave's sitting down there. We gotta get it off the header, but we haven't got that far yet. So it is possible to fit an NV4500 and a 205 into a 81 Blazer. Okay, so I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this video up here. As you can see, we've got the 42s onto here. Miley and Josh and Shelby are all out here. Got the 42s on it. Looks pretty good now. I don't know if I can get far enough back so you can see the whole thing. There you go. Looks pretty alright. But I've run into another snag. I got the, I think I left you guys, we had the tranny in, but we didn't have a tranny mount built or nothing yet. I got the transmission cross member remocked.
Hi.
Yep, there's Y-Man. Say hi. Got the cross member all remocked. I built some wedge plates here, some wedge plates there, and just basically built a new outer for it. Painted it up, looks alright, it's all holding up. Driveline, rear driveline is getting shortened down in Kalispell, front driveline's in. But the next snag I've run into, this master cylinder, which is probably pretty hard for you guys to see, is hitting this header. You can see how this header kind of runs. It runs down right next to the oil filter and then out and ends right here. So I can't seem to get that in there, and even if I do get it in there, it sits those threads right there, bolt back here. So even if I do get it set in there, I think it's going to hit this pipe pretty hard right here. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to come over to the other motor here. And you can see these headers are a totally different shape. Those other ones kind of come down and they go back like this, and then they end back here somewhere. And that slave sits right here. And so with these headers, I'll be able to clear inside a lot better. So yeah, all we got left is put the change the headers, I guess. Put the put the slave in. Master's already all hooked up. I've got to go ahead and cut this panel to fit the 5-speed. It sticks up quite a ways. I think I'm gonna have to. It's pretty much flat right here, so I'm gonna have to cut a pretty big hole in it. In this, but we'll make something work there. I don't know. It's not a real big deal, but. And then the rear drive line, whenever it gets back from the machine shop, should fit right in. And we should be able to take this thing for a drive, but unfortunately, without the proper parts, waiting on them and everything else, it's just going to be more waiting. So, going to wrap up the video there. This thing's looking pretty awesome with the 42s on it. Got that cowl hood to put on it yet, but making it slowly but surely. Might finish her up next week. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. We should have some fun stuff coming up here New Year's Eve or New Year's time there, about a couple weeks.
Race to the death.
Yeah, tough trucking, boonie bashing,
Damn,
racing
Josh.
cars.
I'm not driving.
Yeah, all the fun stuff.